In this tutorial, we're going to look at common issues that I regularly encounter with businesses, community groups, and public service organizations in terms of their setup, in terms of how they are using Facebook. So sometimes you can find that if you're not set up properly, that it may cause issues when it comes to, first of all, having your page removed. It may also have you may also encounter issues when it comes to administering the page, and there may also be issues in terms of getting access to insights and ads. And so these are the issues we're going to cover in this tutorial. So the way Facebook want us to be set up is that we log into Facebook as ourselves. Okay, so people on Facebook have personal profiles. So your personal profile, you create a personal profile. It's for you. You put in your first name, you put in your surname, and then you go and you make friends. On Facebook, somebody must send somebody else a friend request and they must accept it in order for those two people to be friends on Facebook. So a person has a personal profile and they have friends. A business or a community group or a public service organization, they have a business page, and that business page has likes or followers. So that's the big difference. People have friends and they have a personal profile, and businesses have pages and they have followers or friends. So if you find that you have a business that is sending out friend requests, well, then you know straight away you're set up incorrectly. There are many reasons that you should be set up properly. For example, a personal profile that's for people is limited to 5,000 friends. Now you may think you may never get there, but if you're a business and you're trying to make friends with as many people as possible, although be it you set up incorrectly, you may reach that limit quite quickly, and then you can't go anywhere else, you're stuck. The second reason is that, and this is the biggest reason, you're actually in breach of Facebook's terms of use. Facebook do not want businesses to use personal profiles for business use. Same for community groups, same for nonprofits, same for any organizations. And if they come across an organization which is set up as a person, well, what they will just do is shut down that account and it will be removed. So I cannot tell you how many times I get phone calls from community groups, from sporting organizations, and from businesses who say, I don't know what's happened, my Facebook page has gone. And the first question I ask these organizations, these people, is, well, did your business page, did your organization or your business, whatever it is, did they have friends or do they have likes or followers? And if they say friends, generally that page is gone and you will not get it back. So that's the second reason not to be set up incorrectly, because Facebook will just shut down your incorrectly set up profile, and that will be the end of it. So if you find that your business is called Joe's Pet Shop, and in the personal profile he has put in Joe as the first name and the surname as Pet Shop, well, you know that's incorrect. That's set up incorrectly, and you will have issues relating to that. So it's the second issue, that you just don't want to have your page removed from Facebook. Because remember, if you are organizing an event or if you are running your business through Facebook and you're regularly taking bookings or appointments, and all of a sudden this profile is removed, people may just think you're gone out of business, so it's not really good for your brand. Okay, so that's the second reason not to be set up incorrectly. The third reason not to be set up incorrectly is that if you are set up and you only have one set of login details, and these are the login details for this fake profile that you've created, which saying this is a person and it's not, and you have to give those login details to everybody in your organization, it's not really a good position to be in, because you may find that if somebody leaves the organization and maybe they're disgruntled, that they change the login details. Or you may find that maybe you had delegated the Facebook updating to an employee who has now left the company 6 months, is traveling around the world, and they literally cannot remember the login details that they used. That happens absolutely all the time. So that's not really a good position to be in as well. Another reason not to be set up, your business not to be set up as a person, is that personal profiles, you don't have access to Facebook Insights. So Facebook Insights are analytics that you get to see on your page. So if you have a business page, you get to see how many people saw your posts. You get to see if you have video content, how long people have watched the video content. You get to see what the profile of the people that like your page and engage with your content. So you don't get any insights on a personal profile. You only get these on business pages. So that's another reason to be set up properly and not incorrectly. And another reason is that you cannot use Facebook ads for a personal profile. So Facebook ads are so powerful, they're so cost effective, they are so accessible for small and medium-sized organizations. It really makes sense to use Facebook ads. So what you want is to be set up correctly and have your organization set up as a page. So in general, what Facebook wants us to do is that we create personal profiles for ourselves, and these are not made-up profiles, they are real profiles. And then from there, we create business pages. And so what happens is you log in with one set of login details, and you can be an administrator on more than one page. You can be an administrator on your local business, maybe you're in a local choir, maybe you're on the Parents Association for the school, and they all have different Facebook pages, and yet you just have one set of login details. You log in as yourself, and from there you become an administrator on a business page. So here I'm about to log into my Facebook profile. Now, another reason why you shouldn't create a fake profile, so sometimes I come across businesses that set up a fake profile like Joe Blogs. Okay, that's really obvious, but they create fake profiles because they still don't want to have real people administering their business page. Now, what the Facebook announced in the last few months is that anybody that's an administrator on a political page, that they must verify their account. So they don't want fake profiles looking after political pages. And that's a good thing, because we want to be able to trace back political content back to real people rather than fake accounts. So that's one change that has started to come in, and that is as a result of the Cambridge Analytica scandal. Secondly, Facebook said that anybody that administers a page with lots of followers, so you might have 50, 60, 70,000 followers, that they want, because these pages have influence, that they then want people who are administrators of these pages to verify that they are real people in the real world. And then the third thing that they said was that they were going to roll this out to all business pages. So that's another reason not to be set up incorrectly, because you just may find that sometime you just may get caught. So I'm just going to log in. So when I log in here, you can see I log in. And this brings me to my personal profile. So you can see this is my personal profile, because up here at the top you see my name, which is Louise, and you see my personal profile. So this is my personal profile, and this is the newsfeed of my personal profile. And what's in the newsfeed of my personal profile are updates from my friends, my Facebook, people I'm friends with on Facebook, updates from pages and groups that I am, pages I like and groups that I'm a part of, and ads. And so that's what makes up my newsfeed. But you can also see over here that I have access to any of my pages, and I'm an administrator on quite a few pages. So if I just go here, I can see that. So I'm just going to quickly log into my own Facebook business page. Now you can see this is my business page. So my personal profile is up here, and this is my business page. This is my profile picture, this is my cover image. And I know that I am an administrator on this page because I have an admin panel up here on the top. If I go to a Facebook page that I'm not an administrator of, I don't see this admin panel. Here is a business page that I like and that I follow, but I'm not an administrator on this page. As you can see, I don't have the administration panel. I have the blue panel, but I don't have the white panel. Back to my own Facebook page, here's the admin panel that I can clearly see. And what I want to draw your attention to is the settings button here. Now sometimes the settings is here, or sometimes it's under a drop-down menu here. So it depends on the browser that you're using. People often see different views. So when I go to the settings tab, I click into this, and on the left-hand side, I see a different menu appearing. Now under page roles, this is where you go to add and remove administrators on your page. So I click into page roles, and I can see here that here are the existing administrators on the page. Okay, and there's the editor. And if I want to add or remove administrators, I just simply type in the names here. So I type in a name. Now, if you're Facebook friends with these people, so I'm just going to select anybody here. If you're friends with them on Facebook, they just will appear. If not, you can put in their email address that they use for Facebook and see if that works. Sometimes that doesn't work. And so what you need to do is befriend them on these people on Facebook. If you don't want to be friends in the real world, once you make them an editor or an admin, you can just unfriend them again. So you can actually do that as well. And so the default when you're creating a new page role is editor. So we're going to talk in a few minutes about the difference between admin, editor, moderator, and advertiser, analyst, and jobs manager. But the big difference between an editor and an admin is that an admin can add and remove other administrators, where an editor can basically nearly do everything that an admin can do, but they can't add or remove administrators. So when you are making somebody, giving them access to your page in terms of updating it, you only give the top level access to people that you really trust. If somebody's coming in and working for you just for a few months or working on the account, maybe making them an editor is enough. If it's somebody that you trust, well then I would definitely give them full access. The other thing I would say to you is that it's really important that you have more than one administrator on your page. If you are the only administrator, or if the fake account that you maybe have set up to access your business page is the only administrator, and something happens to that account, maybe it gets hacked, or maybe for some reason you can't access it, or maybe through people passing away or dying, which happens all the time, or somebody who is the only administrator decides that they want to remove themselves, which they can do, then you have no administrator, and then you cannot make anybody a new administrator on the page. So it's really important that you think about having more than one administrator. So even if there's somebody senior in your organization, or maybe you're a sole trader, if there's a friend that you trust, give them full administrative access. So if anything should happen in your account, that they will be able to make you an administrator of the account again. Okay, so that's good advice there. Common concerns are that employees think that if they're an administrator or an editor on a Facebook page, and so their boss is as well, that their boss will then be able to see everything about them on Facebook. And it doesn't work like that. I can be an administrator on a page, and somebody else can be an editor or an administrator on that page. And if we are not friends on Facebook, it doesn't change things. That person does not get to see anything about me or my personal life on Facebook just because we are both administrators on a page. Another common concern is that employees think that the people that like or follow the page know that they are updating it. And I'm going to show you why this is a common concern just right now. As I am an administrator on this page, I can see that I created this post on the 15th of May at 7 o'clock. Okay? And I can see this because I am an administrator on the page. So any administrator or editor or analyst on the page, they can see who has updated the page. Now let me go to a page that I am not an administrator on. So here we are, Enterprise Ireland, I'm not an admin. And I can see that there was a post created 54 minutes ago, but I cannot see who has created that post. So that's a common concern. People think this just because they can see that they themselves have created a post on a page, that's available, that information is available to the general public. And as you can see, it's not. That information is only available to other administrators on the page. And the reason it's good for people, other administrators, to see who created a post is that you want to be able to say, okay, well, Louise created that post and Joe created that other post and Mary created that other post. So if you're managing the page, that you can see who is doing what. You can see who's doing good work or who maybe needs to be pulled up on posts if they're not up to scratch. Another common concern is that employees think that if they create the page from scratch, that they own it and they can never be removed as an administrator. And so that's just not the case. If you create a page, you are an administrator on the page, and you can make other people administrators on that page. And then if you leave the organization, you can be removed. So you don't own the page forever and ever. Just also always be careful that if you created a page, And if you made somebody an administrator, if you're leaving that organization, don't remove yourself as an administrator without making somebody else an administrator, because otherwise you will leave that page in a really bad setup in that they won't be able to add or remove administrators in the future. So the benefits of being set up properly. Well, first of all, every administrator has their own login details. You simply log into Facebook using your personal profile information. And so there is no issue with multiple people having access to usernames and passwords. So if you have a fake account that everybody is trying to access, well, then somebody can simply change that password and hold the company to ransom. The other thing is, if you are updating Facebook on the go on a phone, well, then you have to keep logging in and out of your own account and the fake account if that is the case. And it certainly is more secure if you have credit card details saved on an account, especially when you're using Facebook ads. Another benefit is there is actually a log, as I just previously said, of people who have created a new post on the page. And that's really important when you're managing the page and you want to see what administrator or editor has done what on the page. And all administrators can use Facebook managers on their phones to update the page on the go. And that's really important. You don't want somebody having to log in and log out of their own personal profile and then to this maybe fake profile to update the page. So there are many benefits of being set up properly. So in summary, don't use fake accounts to administer a business page, because fake accounts will eventually get removed and then you could be left either with no business, if you're just using the fake account, you will have nothing at all. Or if you're using a fake account to administer a business page, you won't have access to that business page. So if you are using a fake account to administer a business page, my advice is to go in and make yourself, your own personal profile, a full administrator of that page straight away. Make somebody else in the organization a full administrator of that page straight away. And then in a few weeks' time, you can remove that fake account and you'll be fine. Only give top-level administrative access, that's the top-level administrative access to people that you trust. Somebody's coming in on work placement and they're only there for a few weeks, you might just make them an editor rather than an administrator. So full level administrative access is to people that you trust. If you own the page, so if somebody, let's say an employee or an agency or somebody that you're paying to do your Facebook, let's say that they set up the page, so they become the page owner and administrator. Make sure that they make you an administrator of the page as well. Because if you decide you no longer wish to work with them, if they're an agency or a third party looking after your Facebook page, or if it's an employee that leaves the organization, that you still have that full administrative access so you can add and remove other administrators in the future. So I have seen this happen really more regularly than not, that somebody comes to me because they decide they want to do something with their Facebook page. They haven't touched it in a few months, and then they find out that they're an editor on the page rather than an administrator. And the person who used to look after the Facebook page may have been working in an agency and has moved on, or is an employee and is abroad. And it's really difficult to gain access as an administrator of your page. So that's really, really important and an important thing to get set up. It's also, as I said earlier on, you don't want to have just one administrator, in case I've had clubs and organizations contact me because the person who set up and the sole administrator on the page has passed away, and then they have no access to the page. So having more than one administrator is really important. So let's just look at the difference between the different levels of access that you can give somebody on your page. So the top level there is an admin. So as an admin, you can see that administrators can manage page roles and settings, edit the page and add apps to the page, create and delete posts on the page, send messages, respond to and delete comments, remove and ban people from the page, create ads, promotions and boost posts, view insights, view page quality tab, view who is published as the page, and publish and manage jobs. So they can do everything on the page. Now the editor can practically do everything, but the only thing they can't do is manage page roles. So what that means is add and remove other administrators. And the moderators like that, it's more of a passive role, as you can see. So they can't create posts on the page. So if you want somebody to be able to create posts on the page, you need to make them an editor. An advertiser is more just on the Facebook ads side of things, and an analyst is just literally gaining access to insights and the quality tab and who's published what on the page. So, and same with the jobs manager. So if you are giving somebody access to the page and you just want them to be able to create content, and you don't need them to see the top level settings or to be able to add or remove people as administrators, well, then you can make them an editor. But always make sure that your page has more than one administrator, so that going forward that you're covered for adding and removing other editors or admins in the future. And that concludes the module on getting set up properly on Facebook.